Welcome once again to the Mardi Gras 3000 Multiverse. This is part 2 in a 3-part video series that teaches you how to play the Mardi Gras 3000 expandable card game. I'm Jennifer DeMarco, the designer of the stacked gaming system that runs the game. In part 1, our players strategically set the grid with terrain cards and stacked their characters with compatible weapon and armor cards. Now Maxwell and Brienne are ready to continue. Only one D6 is needed to play, but they don't like sharing. As a reminder, Maxwell is playing a team of 3 Terrifiers, Elijah, Angelus, and Chorus. And Brienne is playing a team of 3 Celestials, Ganymede, Pholus, and Hylanime. Maxwell and Brienne roll to see who goes first, and Brienne wins. Players must announce which character they're rolling for before they roll. Brienne rolled a 6. This is the amount she can spend to move Ganymede across the grid. In the center of every terrain card is the card's cost. Because Brienne rolled a 6, she can move Ganymede across 2 road at the cost of 1 each, and then onto water at a cost of 4. She stops there because she can't pay for any other movement. Ganymede has spent the 6 movement points. One at a time, Brienne announces each of her other characters, then rolls for them and moves them. Because none of the Celestials reached a Terrifier or the Grail, Brienne can do nothing more this turn. Depending on a player's strategy, he will move his characters toward the enemy team to attack, or toward the Grail to try to claim it. The goal of the game is to claim the Grail, take it to a cathedral, and attempt to harness the Grail. Some players split up their characters to accomplish this task and take out their enemies to eliminate the competition. Now Maxwell takes his turn. Maxwell rolled a 5. This would normally mean that Angelus only has 5 points with which to move. But in basic play, every character has one of 6 immortal skills, and Angelus possesses Grace. This means that Angelus receives a +1 to movement, so Maxwell is able to place Angelus on a Maple Copse card, having spent 6 points to reach it. Maxwell only rolls a 2 for Chorus, and cannot pay any of the terrain costs to move Chorus off the Terrifier start card. Looks like Chorus will have to stay behind this turn. Next, Maxwell announces and rolls for Elijah. A 6! Elijah has the immortal skill Lead. This means she can pick up any number of allies that are on the same space that she's on and carry them with her when she moves. Looks like Chorus will be moving this turn after all. Play then passes back to Brienne. After rolling for Hylanime, but before moving him, Brienne announces that Hylanime uses Vanish. Hylanime's immortal skill is Vanish, which means every other turn he can choose to move invisibly. Brienne removes the Hylanime character stack off the grid. She will place him back on the grid during his next turn, placing him wherever she envisioned moving him. Because Maxwell still gets to see Hylanime's roll, Maxwell can figure out the places where Brienne may have moved him. But Maxwell can't be 100% certain. After all, Hylanime may have stayed in place. Either player is allowed to write down the coordinates where the vanished character was, what the movement roll was, and any possible destinations. Remember, players never have to use an entire movement roll, or any of the roll at all.
Ganymede.
Brienne moves Ganymede onto the same space as Angelus. Once on the same space as an enemy, battle can occur. A character cannot move after he attacks, whether he's successful or not. Movement must be made before attacking. Brienne looks at Angelus. Angelus doesn't have the immortal skill Cloak like Chorus. Cloak would hide all Angelus's scores. Brienne sees that Angelus only has 1 point of armor. Brienne announces her intentions. As the attacker, Ganymede must roll her weapon score or less on a D6. Her weapon score is the white number revealed through a pass at the top of her card. If she is unsuccessful, the battle and Ganymede's turn will be over. If Ganymede's attack roll is successful, Angelus must roll his armor score or less to block her attack. His armor score is the black number revealed through a pass at the bottom of his card. If Angelus's roll is successful, the battle also ends. Ganymede's attack roll was successful, and Angelus's defense roll was unsuccessful. Ganymede has succeeded in sending Angelus back to his start card. Angelus can re-enter the game on his next turn when his movement roll allows it. unless Brienne decides to try a bonus roll. In the center of Ganymede's card are gray bonus numbers revealed through central passes. Since Ganymede successfully sent Angelus back to his start card, she has the option to attempt to send him out of the game altogether by rolling one of her bonus numbers exactly. However, if Ganymede's bonus roll is unsuccessful, both Angelus and Ganymede will be returned to their start card. Brienne decides to take the risk. Angelus is a powerful character with his +1 for movement, and Brienne wants to try to remove him from play. As always, she announces her intentions before rolling. Ganymede is attempting to roll a bonus number and send Angelus out of the game. Brienne is successful. Angelus is removed from the game. Play continues. Some players prefer lots of battling and others avoid conflict and focus on the Grail. A player can send any 2 characters from the opposing team out of the game, but must leave 1 enemy character in play, even if given the opportunity to send him out. More than 1 tournament game has been won by a player with only 1 character left on the grid. The Terrapire Elijah has reached the Grail. Maxwell unclips Elijah's character stack and places the Grail directly behind the character card before reclipping the stack. This is called claiming the Grail. Maxwell moves Chorus onto the same space as Elijah. Because these allies are on the same space, Maxwell can swap the Grail between them. The Cloak skill will hide that Chorus has the Grail, but Maxwell decides against a swap. Brienne moves Pholus into attack position. If Pholus can successfully attack Elijah, Pholus will take the Grail. Maxwell moved Chorus in to try to discourage this kind of attack, but Brienne is pretty brazen. Whether Pholus is successful or not, during Maxwell's next turn, Pholus will most likely be attacked by Chorus, and possibly Elijah as well. Pholus's attack is successful, and he takes the Grail. Elijah is sent back to her start card. But Pholus couldn't move after his attack, and Chorus wanted revenge. Unfortunately for Team Terrapire, Chorus's attack is successfully blocked by Pholus. When play passes back to Brienne, she makes a great roll, and Pholus gets to a Cathedral. Cathedrals only cost 1 point to enter, and in Pholus goes. Now Pholus will try to harness the Grail and win the game. The Mardi Gras 3000 card game isn't easy to win. In the multiverse, Terrapires and Celestials have been trying to harness the Grail for more than 1,000 years. A player must announce one specific number off a Cathedral card and then roll that exact number. Only 1 chance. If successful, the game is won. If unsuccessful, the character is returned to his start card, the Grail is redropped, and play continues. The only exception is characters with the immortal skill of Key. These characters can try to roll the specific number twice. Pholus has Key. Brienne announces a number off the Cathedral card and rolls twice. Both times are unsuccessful. Maxwell still has a chance to win the game. When the game was still in beta testing, beginning players argued that luck outweighed strategy in play. But then strategic players began to rise in the player ranks and take home multiple tournament wins. The truth of the matter is there are many factors that make a good Mardi Gras 3000 player. How the terrain is set, how movement rolls and tricky maneuvers are executed, and more. Don't forget, once you announce your intentions with a character, you cannot change your mind. Do not roll or touch your character until you make your announcement. Plan your move before you start moving. Also, whether you're playing with a pre-printed grid or not, with or without a vinyl cover sheet to keep your terrain cards in place, rolling the die on the terrain cards is against the rules. Keep your rolls on the tabletop to avoid disrupting the stacks, especially if you're not using stack clips. Congratulations! In 2 videos and less than 20 minutes, you've learned basic play. Players have happily stayed with basic play for years, but if you'd like to take your game to the next level, add constitution, secondary skills, and specials, advanced play is taught in part 3. I'll see you there.